I know it's late. I know. I've got a job, you know. Right then, match review. But before I do, I've seen some comments on my last video about my diet and about these books on back about healthy eating, and are they not even real? Well, that should be a better eater. Look, real pages in there, unread, but still, you cheeky bastards. Now in build up to the game, I was looking at results and I thought these aren't a bad side actually, they're in good form. 4 wins on spin, you know, a couple of games where they've scored 3 goals, and I thought probably it's not a great time to play and we are injury worries and what have you, we hadn't really got any proper centre halves. And before the game, if you'd said, oh, score draw, I'd have been like, yeah, I'll take a score draw, I'd probably take a 0-0, do you know what I mean? And in the afternoon, you know, phone's pinging, I'm going to say, oh, I've heard Dunkley might not be about. I thought, okay, now. We are in shit if he's not about. Then ping. Have you heard that Brennan hadn't gone down? I thought it's got to be a load of bollocks, this. Then team sheet come out. I thought, oh Jesus Christ! I'm looking. First thing I did, saw the team sheet, looked at bench. What if 18-man squad, not a centre half in squad? Unbelievable. You're going down there against a team that's been scoring and winning. I thought, oh, here we go. Bad weather, right long trip. It's all set up for a Wednesday failure, isn't it? I thought it did alright. I mean, there were pitch inspection, and I do think there were probably half of Sheffield doing a bloody rain dance, like, let's get it off. But, I mean, like a bowling green in end, weren't it? Ball was zipping about lovely. Well, it were for them in large parts, but just shows difference, doesn't it? These here, pitch inspection might not be quite slick enough. Unbelievable. But game starts, I think we're all a little bit worried. And I thought, first 20 minutes, I thought they were slightly on top. You know, they've got a lot of decent young players, actually. They were Aziz, nice little player in, moving ball about, quite like look at him. And Harness, who were in that sort of free role they got, the hiding position, as Ron used to call it. Trying to thread them little balls through for strikers, wasn't he? I reckon it's because I pulled him before the game for being agreed to get 1 assist all season. So he's trying to thread them little passes. Yeah, I thought they got a few decent plays. First 5-10 minutes, well, we've got to mention him, haven't we? George Hurst, I thought he was causing a few problems, but let's be honest, he'll have been completely pumped for this game. Patterson throws him out floor. I think he has to do that, really. I think he's away. I think he was quite spring-heeled, he was quite quick. Takes one for the team. I know you're on 10 trucks after that, but what a performance from Patterson. To get booked that early in a game and still play it where he did, I thought he was fantastic. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at the team. Now, I don't care who you are. When that team sheet come out and you saw the team, you can't tell me you weren't panicking. The centre forward, a right back and a left winger in back 3. I mean, and Johnson's been out. How long? Who knows? He's been out for ages. Mysterious injury. Palmer's been out with COVID, or at least his missus has. We don't know if he's had it, but I mean, we don't know what sort of effect that can have on players' fatigue. And this, poor old Patterson is getting played all of it, show. I mean, fantastic attitude, but you know, when you're trying to get consistent performances, you could do having him run at the same spot every week. You know, left centre half, right centre half, he's all over the place, isn't he? But God, didn't he stick with it? Midfield, Luongo, happy with that. Obviously, we'll come on to that later. But Deli Bashir, who comes in team, and that's a nice midfield 3 there. Sharipo on left. He frustrates me. I think there were a few questions being asked about why Corbyn who weren't inside, but. And Canberra and Gregory up top, which, you know, they've showed in a couple of games that they look like there's a bit of a partnership developing. So, midfield and attack, you'd have probably been like, yeah, I'll take that. But that back 3, it were a concern, and I think if anyone says it weren't, I think they were telling porkies. Pork pie. So I thought they edged them opening exchanges and they were bright and lively. They're at home. Done on a great run, 4 wins on spin, got a lot of young, fit players. They're going to be on front foot against us, and we've got a makeshift defence, so first 10-15 minutes, I thought, yeah, they're slightly on top. We're doing the things we have to do, but I thought we started coming into the game a little bit more. I mean, it wasn't a great game. They were trying to probably play more at football. We were going a bit longer, a bit more direct, but we're away from home with a makeshift defence. I mean, it was either going to be, 1982 Brazil-style football, wasn't it? So, and I thought we dug in there, we were getting a foot in. 2 great bits of defending from the much maligned Palmer in first half. Hurst gets a run on him. I don't ball, stands there, just puts foot out, done. So simple, but it's amazing how many times people can get that wrong. Either go thundering into man and barging them over, or even worse, going to ground, which is going to ground. But stands there, just nice block tackle. It's a skill in its own, block tackling. I mean, I was shit at block tackling, worst block tackler in the world, but it is a skill. In. And did really well. Patterson, like I said, he shoves Hurst at floor when he has to. And I thought the game starts evening up. But we do owe a large part to the goalkeeper, Bailey Peacock Fratton, because he's had a fantastic game. I mean, he's made a string of fantastic saves all night. He's tipping them off at bar, he's putting them round posts. I mean, they were a great one at first half. From they'd got a kid up front, didn't like him, little weasel of a kid, but lovely curling shot into far post, brilliant full stretch save. But there was also one from Hurst, which he had to save because I don't think I could have coped. Nice run, actually. Nice run, little threaded, straight ball. Make a good run. Midfielders can just play that straight. And a straight ball, he comes round onto it. The funny thing is, I was shitting myself when I saw it, and I'll tell you why. Because the first time I ever saw George Hurst, it was a clip somebody sent me. And it was a youth team game at Hillsborough, and it was almost an identical ball to that. And he got his foot round it and leathered it right into the far top corner, and that was almost an identical one. And when that ball went through, I thought, fucking hell, here we go. He's just hit it, hasn't he? I think headlines were starting to form in his head as he were pulling his leg back. I genuinely do. And he's just caught it a bit, topped it a bit, hasn't he? But a lot of keepers, they're already going down there. He does well because he stays up, doesn't he? And it hits his legs, so... Great save there. And over the course of the game, he has kept us in it with some fantastic saves, but none more so. It's not even a save as such, but the very, very last minute of the game, they get down left, the wind is getting it all sorts, ball into the back stick, and there's a kid coming in, getting him some of that in ribs. And referees at this level, you never know if you're going to get out or not, but kid's coming, he's getting it. It's almost behind him. He's doing a full-on bloody limbo, and he gets there and he brings it in and takes it down onto the floor, and I just thought, that is quality. Those defenders, we've got a keeper who's just coming and getting them. They're like, yeah, we're all right here. Fantastic game in here, Peacock Fratton, and he'll walk man at matching newspapers, and he'll walk man at matching fan votes and everything else, and fully deserved. But I really do think Palmer and Patterson played really well, and Johnson, actually. It's been out outside a while. They defended really well, and that, especially the bit with 20 minutes with 10 men, because Luongo goes off. Yeah, it's a red. It's a red, yeah. We've seen them given. You can't argue with it. We've seen them given. I don't think there's intent. He does go over the ball, but I don't think he goes over the ball in a over the ball sort of way. His foot's sideways on. I mean, he's getting pulled, isn't he? He's getting pulled. He's getting felled, isn't he? He's getting felled himself, isn't he? But he's getting pulled. But as he goes, as he slides in, Rudolph here, his foot's sort of sideways on, isn't he? And he's making that action. You know when you try and get your foot off a ball and sort of hook it back to your centre, do you know what I mean? And he's not going like that with full. It's like trying to stick at his foot. I mean, it's a red. I'm not arguing that. But I'm saying I don't think there's nasty intent there. It's a bad tackle. But it's a bad tackle without intent. I mean, it's not like when Morgan smashed that Barnsley kid in. I mean, he was trying to fucking hurt him, weren't he? But, yeah. And I tell you what, their kid, Akit, and that is an apt name, by the way, Akit, that tackle on Hunt, yellow. I mean, he actually does go with flat at foot like that, all studs facing, right into... If a red card had got flashed for that, I'd have been like, oh yeah. Same as I were with Luongo. I'm not arguing about Luongo, but I'm just saying... Because the thing is, I think he did mean to kick on. That's difference. There we go. Anyway, so we're down at 10 men, aren't we? 20 minutes ago, 10 men. We've already been under Cush a little bit. They've had more at ball. Young, fit, hungry side. I thought they were running out of steam towards half-time. Come out a little bit more refreshed again after break. But we stuck at it. I thought Deli Bashiru were really good. Without being outstanding. Because it weren't that sort of game where we were going to be the ones playing all the good football. Do you know what I mean? It was clearly their home game. They're the form team. They were the ones who were wanting to get going for their fans. But I thought he was busy, and he just looked stronger every time I see him play. I don't mean physically strong. I mean stronger with the way he's thinking as well. Twisting, turning, little moves, 1-2. And I tell you what he started doing. Didn't do it last season at all, as far as I can remember. Last season, a lot of the time, he'd get the ball, he'd set off, and folks are bouncing off him, and that's great. If you've got that physicality, let folks bounce off you, just fucking go skittling through them, do you know what I mean? But he did that nearly all the time. A couple of times yesterday, he's got the ball, players are coming to engage him, and whereas before he'd have just tried... He's just knocking a 5-yard pass, and they're not expecting it because they know of his size and what he can do and how he can plough through them. They're not expecting that. So, little 1-2, you can take 2 players out of the game because they'll come and double mark you if you're a big unit like that. And just little 1-2, I'm really impressed with it. Growing mentally, I think that's the best way to describe it. I think Deli Bashiru looks like he's growing mentally to me this season. I think there's going to be loads to come from him. I think he's still only 19, and that weren't even a great football performance from Wednesday, but he still looked really good. So, what did disappoint me yesterday was Wednesday's set piece has been really, really good. Probably the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've varied it up, we've changed the takers, and a set piece could have been vital for us yesterday. It could have made a difference. Do you know what I mean? But our set pieces, corners especially, we went back to what we were doing. Do you remember that? Viking warrior, you know, whipped in, right into him. Cheers, lads. Yeah. We're doing that again. And I forget the name of their lad last night. Only 19 years old, by the way. How composed did he look? Like he'd been playing for 30 years. Right, composed, casual. But helped by our set pieces, which every single one of them, almost into his face. Cheers, lads. Wish we could have mixed that up a bit, you know. This is one thing I did quite like about Pulis is it'd only been at club 5 days and suddenly our set pieces, you're like, oh God, we've got 3 or 4 different routines, do you know what I mean? And ours have been better the last couple of weeks, so that was a bit disappointing. But in terms of effort, fantastic, especially when we go down to 10 men, battling away. Patterson, Marvin, bit at end, just gets the littlest eclipse, went down. Not overly dramatically, but went down realistically. But you could almost see it in his face when he heard ref's whistle. He almost sort of looked at Palmer and went, I love him. Love Big Patterson, me. All of it. You need players like that. Still see people slagging him off. I've never been a footballer. What the fuck does that actually even mean? Great game. Him, Palmer, Johnson stuck at task. Actually, he had a couple of run-ins with their right wing, and I thought he just showed that bit of experience. And actually, not his best position, but in terms of how many games he's played, I just thought he went quite sharp against that young right wing back of theirs. Great performance in terms of attitude, hard work. That is a great 0-0. It really is. I really think it is. Hurst, yeah. I'm going to have to talk about him because I did say I was going to, and I've tried to put it off. A lot of vitriol, maybe. He got the crowd singing not a particularly nice song about him, but that's football. That's going to happen. Always going to happen. I didn't want him to play well because he don't play for Wednesday. Simple as that. Didn't want him to play well because I don't want anyone to play well against Wednesday. Especially don't want ex-players to play well against Wednesday. And if he celebrated, oh God, I couldn't bear it. Because it's not just that. And we had one or two people, oh, it's only because of his name. If he weren't called George Hurst, you wouldn't be as bothered. Well, no, I wouldn't, because he'd just been a fucking player, wouldn't he? But the fact is, his father was a legend at Hillsborough, and he was at Hillsborough. And genuinely, ain't that part of every one of us who wanted that to end the way that we thought it were going to come through, breaking out records in youth team, son of a legend, into first team, wearing number 9 shirt, same as old man, firing Wednesday on to glory. Well, that's what everybody wanted in. That's why folks are upset. And if you can't see that, well, he's took some mammoth diving, by the way, and he did take a couple of dives. One, I thought he should have scored. I thought he neshed it a bit actually. Comes in on Peacock Faddle at end. I think he neshes it and then he goes over. He had a shocking dive actually. It was shocking, making a right meal of it. But that's modern football, full stop, really. And all young players are seeing at that game, aren't they? But I don't think he was worst. And genuinely, I know there's threads about him on Facebook and Twitter and all of it show, but I far more dislike that other kid, that Curtis, Ronan Curtis. I mean, I didn't like his face for the start. Bleeding weasel. Chucking him centre bar. Ref's here. Ref Mither. One of them. Always leaving a little bit at studs in when he defender clears ball and it goes down pitch and ref watches and he's always one of them with slightly little stamp on foot. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were there. Didn't like him at all. In fact, I tell you what he looked. I saw his face. I saw his face and I thought, do you remember them yellow bins what he used to have? It's sort of kid who'd set fire to one of them bins in a park. He got one of them faces, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? Mark a pen on a park bench and then set fire to one of them funny 70s yellow bins. That sort of face he'd got. And, I mean, you never want to play to get hurt. But when Luongo did make his bad tackle, and I saw it with him, I was like, oh, nah, I've had enough of that, you know what I mean? Thought he was far worse than George Hurst. Clung on, 0-0. Makeshift back 3. Fantastic display from Goalkeeper. I'm well happy with that. Well happy with that. It's funny because I watched the game and I'm like, I was relaxed. I mean, they had that spell, didn't they? When we got down to 10 men, and we sort of Berahino comes on, and we're really under pressure. They have about 90% of the ball for 10 minutes. But other than that, it was a little bit. Oof. But other than that, I was just like watching the game. After when you read reports and threads and posts, and you're like watching the same game as me. I didn't shit myself at all really through that. Other than that first 5 minutes when he got bit between teeth, and it didn't bother me in the slightest. I thought, we're alright here. Stuck to it. Said it other week and all. Players stopping shots with a bollocks. Patterson, Palmer, Johnson. Like bomb squad heroes down here. Marvellous. Bloody marvellous. When you're doing that. A couple of things off the pitch though that, want to talk about. But that might have to be for another video because it's starting to crack on now and this is 20 minutes long, and as we know from my analytics, you lot can only listen for 9.5 minutes maximum anyway. So you've not even heard the last 5 minutes of this anyway. So I'll do another video for the important point what I was going to make. And then I'll do a preview for the weekend. tomato, Miss Spice and all. Good point, that. And genuinely, I think if you're looking to pick lads apart or manager apart for that defeat, then you must be looking to have Monk on, because that's a decent result, that. Two-footing me back here.